Oh, this is going to be so chaotic. I'm actually a bit anxious to press play. Okay, let's go. Let's see what they'll do. Good morning and welcome back to our Survival Build a City challenge in this post-apocalyptic world. Today we will be welcoming back the Scavenging crew who have been gone for 28 hours, and if you've seen the last episode, you know that they are bringing home some new survivors to expand our town with. In this episode we are going back to the forest and the quarry for some short trips, but mainly we will focus on getting everything ready for the next chapter of their lives and preparing for the first couple to move out to their own household. So we will finally have another house in this town. Before we get into the gameplay, let's start with a bit of an update of what the ones that stayed home on this Sunday did during their afternoon, because that's where we left off in the last episode. John has been drafting almost the entire afternoon. He has been making blueprints, and that is something that we are going to use in the future for future advancements. So he's not the only one that has been making blueprints, but he has made the majority of them. Brandon has been working on his stoneworking skills. He has been refining the stone into blocks that we can use for our future homes, that where we are going to use more stone in. But he has also been working on his skills by doing that. So I expect him to gain a few skill points in this episode. We will get to Kome in a second. But first, let's move over to Christy. She has been working in the gardens as per usual. She has been tending the crops, and there's a lot more plants to take care of right now. But she also found the time, with all of the others gone, to do some pottery. So she has been stocking the wheel with water and clay that the others have gathered. She actually gathered the water, but the others gathered the clay, and she's been making plates. She's been very successful actually. There's a chance to ruin the plates while she is making them, but she's actually had quite a few successful runs. So we have a huge stack of plates right now that still need to be baked in the oven, in the kiln. And Kome has been working hard as always. I'm beginning to expect nothing less from him. He's been making furniture and doors and windows for the new houses, and also cutting all the logs that they collected into planks. He did have a bit of a moment with Melissa in the last episode, and they both still have wants about each other, but they've been so busy this afternoon with all of the others gone that there has not been any action in that department. So guess who will be running the lumberyard in the future? Working as a stonemason has actually been one of the most intense chores that there are in the challenge so far. Brandon is usually completely exhausted, dirty, and probably has an aching back or something after cutting a few pieces of stone, so he's been sleeping a lot too. And Goopy has been painting his paintings, but he also really needed some time with some of the others. His social was really so low, he was getting so lonely, so he took his chance to have a chat with Melissa about shoes apparently, and they seem to have fun, so I let them do that for a while. And judging by the daylight being gone, we have arrived in the evening, and this is also around 8 p.m. when the others arrived home from their long journey to the dense forest behind the gas station for their scavenging trip. And they're all tired, dirty, and probably hungry, so let's go check on them. Okay, so that actually did catch me by surprise, because I didn't really expect them home for at least another hour or so. Of course, they didn't come home alone. They brought the others with them. So we are going to teleport them in a second. But first, John just finished his painting, his blueprint. And I think he's very tired. He really wants to go to bed. But I think he would find the time to greet Brandy. And she wants to give him a back rub. And he looks like that is exactly what he needs right now. Also, I think Goopy would return to his painting, and Melissa has a new tool, which is also why it's a little bit dark right now. We have this electric box right here. It's by Lamar, and it's still in testing, I think, but it is so awesome. This now means that they actually do not have electricity, which is also why the candles won't work. So that's one downside, but other than that, I absolutely love this. And she can also tinker with it. So let's have her do that. And third, at the end of the last episode, we saw that Sandy flirted with, I think, Abhijit. And Kennedy was so upset. So she probably would have taken the time to apologize to him on the way back. So let's have her do that a few times, actually, to hopefully get their relationship back to a better level. Yeah, he's so upset with the both of them right now. Kennedy also made a friend, and we are going to see him in a minute. And Marilena is going to get ready to head straight back out again, because she is going to lead the third trip to the forest. So we are going to send a few of them on another little trip again to the forest, the third one, which means that we will be allowed to expand the settlement. So I cheated a little bit here. We were, of course, supposed to first go to the third the third trip to the forest and then expand the settlement, because the settlement is what gave us more cast points. The expansion of the settlement gave us the cast points that we needed to get these guys here. But since I am not only playing this for myself, it is a challenge and I don't want to bend the rules too much. But yeah, I think I said before, I do want to keep some progress in every episode, and grinding is just not much fun to watch. Also, I don't want to really skip large parts of the gameplay, so that's why I chose to switch those two around. So they are going on their third forest trip today, and when they come back, I'm going to send them straight back out again to the third quarry trip. So we will have 2 settlement expansions when the sun comes up, when it's daylight. Also, when it's daylight, we're going to, we've been looking at these empty shelves for a while now, and I was actually supposed to fill them up with all of the items that they have in their inventories. But there was never really the right time for it. They've been so busy, and also out of the house on their scavenging trips. So now that they are all here, we are going to fill these shelves up with all of the items. Of course, we're going to do that on Monday. Today is still Sunday, so Monday will be a big day with a forest trip, a quarry trip, and a little party at the cornfields, because there is a reason for celebration. And of course, we want them to meet the new survivors that have been brought home with the scavenging crew. So let's bring these guys in, because I'm also immediately going to send them with the scavenging crew to the forest, because I think the woodcutters, some of them would really, I think Benjamin would want to join Kennedy on a fishing trip, and basically Amin is a woodcutter and they might as well take him to a woodcutting trip. So let's go to the sim blender, go to teleport, summon in the survivors. No, that's the wrong one. Those are the townies. Right, the Cormier family. And there we have Benjamin, Ivy, I don't know where Benjamin went, Amin, Joe, Andrea, and Marissa. We'll just move them to the front. So here are our new survivors that are going to join the group. Now, they will not be living all together indefinitely, but they are going to live all together for a short while. So we are going to move them in. With the sim blender, we'll go to family, move in, and we'll move in all of the 6 new sims. And there we go. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. So let's do, I know we've seen them in the last episode and you did get a glimpse of their characters, but let's do a short introduction of just a little bit of their class, like if they're woodcutters, mechanics, stuff like that. And we'll start playing the new chapter in their lives where they are all together after this short clip. So when I moved them into the cabin, I gave them the same aspiration benefits as all the others, 4 points in their needs and the first benefit from their aspiration line. I played them for 1 day just to get to know them a little bit, but I won't be doing that for the new random survivors that we will be getting through the cast points. We will actually be meeting those randomly and they will all be a surprise. just for these 6 because we all know them from Pleasant View, and to me they are part of the original group from day one. The only one that is still missing is Jan Tellerman, so she will be the first addition if we get another cast point, and she is also a woodcutter, which is good because we are running short on those with all of the buildings being built right now and all of the woodcutters being in building jobs and stuff. I had already rolled for all of their traits, skills and majors when I created them almost a year ago, so that is all set, and we will do proper character introductions with the aspiration calculator later on. But yeah, somehow I just started seeing Andrea as their leader. I'm not even sure why exactly. And Ivy, sort of this really tough and fierce looking, almost warrior type. So she's basically been working with the bow and arrow a lot. And it's now my headcanon that she actually was like a brilliant mechanic or engineer or something before the apocalypse. So she has that knowledge and she brought that with her. Joe is a really charismatic guy, and that's mostly what he focuses on. He and Andrea are, I see them as this really strong power couple, but they're not together yet because we're waiting. I've put off getting these guys into relationships just until the moment that we can do that together. And Benjamin is the scavenger of the group, and he has been their source of food. He has been providing them with food by fishing mostly because there wasn't a lot of other sources. There weren't a lot of other sources for food in this area. Of course, they could have gone hunting, but none of them really have a high body skill. So that didn't really seem to match the group. So basically, I've had Benjamin fishing for them the entire day, and they did get a lot of food points from that. Of course, we had to leave this cabin behind, even though I loved it so much. But I'm sure that we'll find a way to incorporate it in future gameplay. It's really far from the other houses because it's into the forest. I'll show you the map in one of your future episodes again when we've built all the other cabins in this area, in this subhood. They were all mostly meant to be small community lots that we would visit once and never come back to it again. But of course, I got carried away with this cabin, and I think we will find future use for it. I can think of some survivors who might want to live a little bit farther away from the group. So yeah, I think we'll find a good use for it. And then last is Marissa, who is their academic. She hasn't been able to do too much research yet, but she has been studying plants and their uses. So if she combines her knowledge with Brandy's cooking, who knows what they can do with their teas and their potions. They still haven't found any Sims with a medical degree, so there still are no cures if one of them gets sick, which isn't going to be that much of a risk in the summer, but when autumn and winter comes, who knows? She also has been keeping the fire since Benjamin was so busy with his fishing. So this is them all together on their last night alone, right before our group of scavengers came walking through the forest and stumbled upon Ivy and her bow and arrow, which you've seen in the last episode. And I think they immediately knew from both ends that the other group was not a hostile group, and there was immediately some sort of familiarity between them, almost like they could have been friends and neighbors in another life. Oh, this is going to be so chaotic. I'm actually a bit anxious to press play. Okay, let's go. Let's see what they'll do. I paused these guys because they will want to meet the others in a bit. Yeah, let's see Brandy. Oh, these guys are so cute. And I think she will tell him that, John, there's a little group of people outside that might want to meet you. So let's have John come out and meet these guys. Oh no, they're flirting again. Please don't do that. This is really not the time for it. And back there, you can see that Sandy's still apologizing to Kennedy. Joe is investigating their plans. I think Ivy's in the way. Yep, there we go. Okay, And this is exactly what I was afraid of. Like, everyone started flirting with everyone. Marlena flirting with Joe. Christy's coming in to flirt with Marlena. So let's give all of these guys some chores so we won't have to deal with ACR running wild right now. And yeah, we'll continue from there and send at least Marlena with a few guys to the forest. And I think that Ivy can go start punching this bag. I let Marilena take out some food because some of these guys were hungry, but it's also really time to go. Oh! What just happened there? Is that Benjamin and Ivy? Who fell in love? Oh my god, it's Christy and Abhijit. Did we just miss that? What did they do? We just missed Christy falling in love with Abhijit. Well, they probably did. They didn't see each other for like a day and a half, so let's have him hug her romantically. But as cute as that was, even after knowing about his kiss with Sandy the other day, the survivors got work to do, so we need lots more wood and food if we are going to build houses for all of these guys and gather enough food before winter comes. Luckily, we still have the edge of the forest nearby with lots of trees and a pond with fish in it, so let's see how much we can gather there today. And there they come. So I guess you know the drill by now. We're going to set up camp here and stay here for 8 hours minimum. We're going to fish for fish. I brought Melissa so she can actually get some stone here. And Marlena's probably going to harvest some berry bushes and Kome, and the other woodcutters are going to cut down as many trees as they can in those hours, because we need the resources for the rest of the houses and for some items that we want to build. So let's get started on that. And of course, Amin did not have enough body points to start cutting down trees, so we're going to let him work out until he has 3 body points. And Kome and Marlena needed a little nap before they are going to start. Alright, so I see some sunlight, which means that we should be waking up Kome, who had a little nap, but we want him to get this last tree. So he cut down all on his own 4 trees and felled them. So we have quite a bit of extra logs from that. And the others mostly focused on gathering food, mushrooms, which they already ate mostly, because I forgot that they cannot harvest berries in the summer. So we have 4 buckets of mushrooms left to take home. But yeah, they've been very busy, very productive really. Melissa could probably take a nap just until they go. No, let's have her gather a little bit more stone. Kennedy can have some sleep. He did very well. He actually got a few coin pouches again, so that's new in the 2.0 fishing mod, which is really cool. And 10, 12 fish. Also, a few of those they have to be from the day at the hunting cabin, but still he did quite well. And Benjamin does also have quite a few fish on him. Let's see, 10 largemouth bass, and a preserved fish from the cabin. They also had some jerky and they ate 2 pieces, which is actually quite filling. So what I thought was I should really give these to Marilena, so she can bring these on their next scavenging trips in summer, since they will not be able to harvest from the berry bushes anymore. The only option that they have there is to compost them. So yeah, when it turns 7, we'll pack up our stuff. When Kome finishes this tree, actually, we'll pack up our stuff and head to the settlement to see what the others have done in the meantime. And obviously, Amin was asleep, but he did very well actually. He did work out for a couple of hours, so. And he wants to go fishing, so I think I'm going to give Melissa's fishing rod to Amin after this. She doesn't really need it anymore, since she is actually a miner and not a scavenger. And fishing is also a way for the survivors to gain body skill points. So that'll be a nice way for Amin to gain those body skill points, because I don't really think that he wants to work out, so we're not gonna let him do that again. So back at the settlement, things are actually pretty quiet. We do sort of have like 2 groups forming. The new guys are mostly gathering here, and the other ones are inside eating something before they are going to sleep. Yeah, Marilena and the scavenging crew will be back in 10 hours, probably around 8 a.m. in the morning, which is the exact time that the others have to go to their jobs, which is the next thing that we are going to do. We are going to change some of them to different jobs with the sim blender. And I just noticed that Marissa is actually harvesting these mudfruit things. No, the taters. What are they called? The fallout stuff. The potatoes. Yeah. So we've got mudfruit on the quarry, and we've got these potatoes without any radiation, I hope, in our settlement. And apparently they can be harvested in summer. So yeah, let's move over to John, because his is the first job that we are going to change. Did he go back to bed? He went to relax on the bed. Well, he's very tired, and we're going to either give him some coffee if we have some, and otherwise let him get some sleep before he goes back to his chores. And we'll probably don't record too much during the night, because it's, like I said, really, really dark. We do have a campfire right now, but that's the only light that we have. So he was supposed to go in the politics career, and there's a requirement for that. He needs to have 3 points in charisma, which he has, 3 points in logic, which he gained after studying a lot of the geodes and the fossils that they found, and he needs 3 points in creativity, which he is still working on. So, but I don't want to wait any longer. He still has a few hours until he starts his job, so we are going to give him the career of politics. There we go. And he's not going to be a city council member. He is actually going to be a lobbyist, which is level 3. There we go. So that is the lowest that they can start in a politics career. Now the requirement that I have in this challenge is higher than the actual requirement for the career in some cases. And that has been done on purpose because I wanted all of the survivors to sort of have a threshold that they have to gain skills and knowledge before they can actually be of value to the group. So when finding new survivors and rolling for their traits and wants and stuff, it's actually somewhat of a challenge to find the right people for the right job. So that's why that is. You can of course change that if you want to play a challenge like this, and you can just keep the requirements that are actually in here for that job, which are really, really low for a lobbyist. But he will bring home 500 crafting points every day, 5 days a week. So yeah, I wanted them to have a little bit of a higher skill for that, because that is a lot. In this challenge, that is actually a lot at the beginning. And since the lobbyist career is open for anyone since the beginning, it would feel a little bit OP to have someone bring in 500 crafting points from day one. So that's why. And since Benjamin is actually the one having the coffee bags with him, the coffee beans with him, and he is out in the forest still and won't be back for a few more hours before next morning actually, we're just going to send the ones that are tired to bed. So John can go to sleep, which he's probably going to do on his own anyway, but we'll just send him to sleep. These two just can't keep their hands off of each other. They will be a couple in no time, like all on their own. It's really hard to keep them apart. So yeah, next in line is Brandon, and we are going to move him over to the real construction or architect job. He gained his skills that he needed for that, for the requirements. So he has 3 in mechanical, 3 in body, and 3 in creativity. And I think he's actually the only one. Yeah, because Co-Mate still needs 3 points in creativity. Goopy is actually also... he can also be moved to the other architect career, the real architect career. Okay, so we've got Goopy, Brandon, and Melissa still needs... Yeah, she still needs mechanical... creativity too. So those are the 4 builders for now. And when Amin comes home, we are going to move him over... there he is. We are going to move him over to also the building career, but the secondary one. So let's start there. We'll put him in the architect career, and we'll move Brandon to architecture, and also Goopy can take a break from painting, and we'll also put him in architecture. And after that they can just go back to sleep or what they were doing. Foreman, we're going to take the job, but he does have to start at the bottom, so he will not be level 3, he will be probably level 2. Bricklayer, yep, that's it. And he will start Monday at 8. And he's probably going back to bed too. Let's see. He's smelly. Yeah, you're not actually tired anymore. Okay, good. But Brandy is in the bathtub. Yeah, so we'll give him a bucket for now. And I think they will have a campfire meal tonight by the fire. And then we'll have them all go back to sleep. Abjit is crafting something, which is the next thing that we're going to do. Yeah, so Goopy is now a cement mixer, and we want him to also be a bricklayer. So there we go. And Amin is probably going to go either as in the architecture career in the primary one as a cement mixer, or in the secondary one. We'll have to see when he comes home. We are almost out of food in the storage, but that's on purpose because we want to do something with the fridge or the pantry actually later on. And Ivy's really putting all her aggression into this punching bag. Loving her outfit, by the way. So we now have all the jobs that we can have at this moment, and there won't be another job opening until John makes a promotion to campaign manager. So that's the next step that we're hoping for. What is Abjit doing? Keep away from the fireworks, she'll burn the shed down. So yeah, most of these guys are just doing what they want to do right now. We obviously have chores for them. They have to work on their skills, and I'm going to rearrange some stuff and get them sorted. Brandy should be cooking and not eating the berries out of here, but you know, on the other hand, why not? That's what they're there for, right? But yeah, let's let them have a campfire meal. We'll continue when the others come home in the morning, because there's really not that much that we're going to do during this night, except for crafting some items, which I will all show you in the morning. And I think they're mostly talking about their new jobs and how to divide all of the chores between all of the new members of this community, because they're with 18 people now. That's a lot of survivors. I also talked about Brandon going into the politics career, but he is lacking the logic skills for that, so we'll keep him as a builder for now. He might want to decide to do that later on. But the combination of both logic skills and charisma is very rare in this setup, and I love that because to me that sort of feels realistic. Like, it's not impossible, but it's a rare combination of traits that make someone stand out in both areas. And I think the only one closest to that right now is Joe. And I also love the thought of Joe going into politics. So he is going to take an interest in the fossils that they found so far, and is going to work on improving his logic while he is here at the settlement. After that midnight dinner, where the old and the new group got to know each other a little bit better, everyone went to bed with a few exceptions, because first of all, there are not enough beds for everyone to sleep at the same time, but also I think it's realistic that one or more survivors will be awake and alert for anything or anyone approaching the settlement from the outside. And with Andrea here, I'm sure that she will have insisted on someone being on watch duty. And besides, the work around the settlement is never done. If it's not for working on skills, crafting items, gathering resources, building stuff, it's doing laundry, which Sandy is doing right now. And as Marissa and Brenda are keeping watch, Brandon is cleaning up after dinner, Ivy is working out, and Goopy is working on his painting that is nearly finished. Sandy puts her ego aside to get down on her knees and help the community out by washing their clothes. This is also a really good way of gaining cleaning skill points that she is going to need in the future, because she will definitely play a big role in their future as one of the few academics that the group has. She is going to be a scientist. But that career is on the second level of the technology tree, and the technology tree won't open up until we have the community lot for the town council. So that will be one of our next building projects for sure. So Goopy just finished his third painting, and we'll just put that in his inventory so he can go straight back to making another one. And before Brandon is going to burn down the shed by getting into the fireworks again, we'll let him clean up and get back to working on refining the stone. He needs to use the bathroom before that, but after that we can send him back here and refine stone. He now has enough skills to work on bricks, so we're going to let him do that. And Christy has been out here working on the pottery. They actually need this for the houses because there are some requirements for the houses to be built. I have a list of items that they need to actually move into one of the new households. One, it's a list to build the buildings, but also the items that they need to live there. And we'll get to that when we move the first couple out, which will be probably on either Monday or Tuesday. It's still Sunday now. But yeah, that's why Christy has been doing this. But also, this is a way for her to work on her creativity skill, which is her main trait. She is a creative sim. And she is now going to stock the kiln with the plates that she made so that we can actually make them into pottery. Like, I'm not really familiar with the terms. So once there's also some, we can report on stocked ingredients actually. So once there is both pottery in there and wood to burn them, to cook them, I guess, we are going to light the fire and we are going to burn them. There we go. And we can now fire tableware's plates. Nice. It is also almost 5 a.m., which is usually when we start the day. So it is now officially Monday and we are ready to start our Monday. I think we can have Sandy join Marissa here so they can get to know each other a little bit better. Christy is going to fill up the bathtub again so that the others can bathe themselves. And after that, I think that Brenda is going to go first. And yeah, because she really still needs to work on her charisma skill. She needs one more point for that. And she needs to be in a little bit of a better mood to start doing that. And for some reason, I just think that these two should really be friends, Sandy and Marissa. I don't know why. I think they will probably get along, but we'll see. And in the back there, you can see that Goopy is still painting. Abhijit is coming out here. Attracted to Sandy. He's going back into the shed to do some more crafting and to build some more furniture. And I am expecting the crew from the forests home pretty soon, actually. In the meantime, Christy is just getting a new fire started. And I can imagine these guys talking about how they are all going to live here as a group. I'm sure Christy hopes that she will get some help in the gardens, but Sandy also hopes that Marissa can join her on some research and doing the laundry and stuff. She has been meaning to do more research and she hasn't really gotten around to it, nor does she have the tools for it, so maybe she hopes that Marissa can help her. And as far as I can tell, Marissa might have her own plans and things that she would want to achieve now that she is in a bit of a safer place than she was before. I also always see Marissa as a bit egocentric, so I don't really know what she's up to yet. So let's see what they are talking about. They're actually talking about food and breakfast and the things that they can cook with the last of the rations that they have, because they are actually pretty much through the stock that they had in the pantry. They're actually almost out of food, so we're gonna have to do something about that. I'm not sure where Ivy is going. Oh, and the others are home because we just got I don't know why they are coming in from that side, but yeah, the others are home, so let's do something about that. So this is where this challenge becomes sort of like an RDS or a city building strategy game. We have all these units that can do labor and that have chores and jobs and stuff, and we need to build a city. But yeah, the thing that we want to do now is send the team that is going to go to the quarry straight back out again. So we are going to do that, and Marilena is of course the leader of this group every time. So she is going to go to a community lot, and Andrea, Joe and Ivy are going with her to the quarry. But before they leave, before they are actually out of this lot, we are going to pause the game, get into their backpacks, and now that everyone is here, technically we can of course always get into their backpacks, but I want to keep it realistic. They have to actually be on the lot for me to be able to get inside their backpack and get something out. So since we'll have daylight in 3 minutes, we are going to put all of the items that we found on these shelves that we have right here. These empty shelves here, the crafting shelves in the shed, and they have so much items with them. The room that we made here on the outside for some more storage. And yeah, we're also going to send John back, I think, to crafting one more blueprint before he needs to leave for work. Nope, he's already leaving. Okay, so a lot of stuff is happening at once. The building crew is leaving, John is leaving, and the quarry team is leaving. So that will leave us with only, I think, 4 or 5 Sims at the settlement, survivors at the settlement. I think we can manage that. So I started out by giving the items to the corresponding survivor, so food items and plants to Brandy, crafting materials to Abjit, etc, etc. But I did that mostly off camera because that is really boring to watch, I'm sure you'll agree. And I then sold the coin pouches that we used to bring back home the crafting points from the previous episode when Brenda and Kennedy went to work during their visit to the old hunting cabin. So this is just to give you a quick result of the item management and the way that I'm handling that. So Andrea has nothing but the bows that she is carrying. Benjamin is back to carrying only the fish and his fishing rod. Brandy has all the plants and food items in here. Unprepared fruit, that is. Brandon has only his stone stuff, carrying nothing but the stone that he is refining. Brenda, of course, has her rifle and some bug hunting stuff and the animal things that we found in the last episode. Christy carries all the ashes, lighting stuff, prepared food, coffee items, and the water supply. And Goopy has a few paintings that he's made and a few blueprints that he has made, which we will see in the next episode what I'm going to do with that. Ivy has some engineering stuff and her bow. Joe has nothing but a football and also a bow. John has everything that is related to treasures, skills, hobbies, and stuff like that. So mainly focused on achievements and advancements for the community. Kennedy has his dung piles, his worms, and his fishing stuff, and the coin pouches that he fished up. Komei carries everything that is related to building and the houses that they're going to build, and the trees that he cut down. We are going to replant some of them. Marissa carries everything, of course her botanicals book, but other than that, everything related to decorations and research that she brought home with them from the last episode, from the cabin that they lived in. Marlena has some scavenging stuff, the tent, the backpacks, the sleeping bags, the lantern, some food for when they're on their trips, and also some leather and sewing hide related items. So making clothing is going to be something that they are going to do pretty soon, I think. Melissa carries a lot of tomatoes because she harvested them, and I'm just going to let her keep them until they're going to get some seeds out of it. And she, of course, carries her tinkering item and the blueprint that she's made. Sandy carries nothing but washing items, laundry items, and water and soap that she needs for that. Amin only has his mirror and his new fishing rod. He has no fish yet because he hasn't fished. And Abjit last and first when it comes to crafting, he carries everything that is related to crafting and resources that they can still turn into new items. He is currently also in the shed, I think. Yeah, there he is. He is crafting. He will be crafting for the rest of the day, and I'll show you later what he has made, what he and Komei have made, actually, because Komei also crafted some items. So yeah, let's decorate this place. It's really more organizing than decorating, really, but it feels nice to have things back in its place again. So now that all of their backpacks are empty, they are ready to leave. Right, I wanted Christy to stock the fridge, the pantry, with some items. There they are, the eggs. It's just a few things, but let's put them in here. Not the preserved foods though. And yeah, these are actually stockable items that they brought home with them from the other cabin. Let's keep these as like an emergency stock. We'll keep them in her inventory for now and find a place to put them. There's actually a larger storage barn in the town center right now. We might put them there. Yeah, I don't want to put the tomatoes in the fridge. We're going to get the gardening overhaul for the next episode. So we're going to turn these tomatoes into seeds. Maybe eat a few of them. We will give a few to Marilena. But yeah, this is all that we wanted to stock for now. I'm not sure that I actually want John to wear a suit, but you know, he's wearing one, so maybe he had one on him. And it's going to make much more sense that he is going to wear a suit and going out for his politics career if he actually lives in his own home. And he will be visiting the settlement and other houses and stuff. That will make much more sense than him walking out right now with no one to talk to. Well, maybe he could visit Eli. We could say that he's going to visit Eli. So we arrived at the quarry, and I've already set up the tent and the sleeping bags and stuff because I wanted you to use the... There we go. So yeah, you've already seen me set up the tent so many times, so I already did that. I sent Joe here for a little nap before he goes into the mines, and Angela? Who's Angela? And Andrea needed to use the toilet. So yeah, but after she's done, it doesn't really matter that she's dirty. We're going to send her into the mines, and we are going to let her mine for... I was going to say iron. Yes, iron. There we go. So we won't see her for another 8 hours. Ivy is apparently eating a mud fruit. That's great. I didn't want her to do that. I let her get some water. How on earth is this chaotic? We have 4 survivors here. So I wanted Ivy to wash herself in the little lake right here, in the little pond. And after that, she can mine for stone, because we actually do need a few more stones for building our houses. And Marilena is just going to spend a few hours fishing. We should also send Joe into... Yeah, he had a short nap. But he can use this and then go... We'll wake him up. He can go in here and mine for... Let's see. It's either coal or copper. I think copper for now. I'm not sure how much... I forgot to check how much coal we still have. I don't know. But he's going in there and mine for copper. And yeah, Marilena has her fishing rod right now. Since Abhijit crafted a few, I thought it was only logical that she would get a fishing rod, since she is a scavenger, so she's also responsible for getting the food. And she's doing well. She's doing well. And you've already seen Ivy giving away the surprise back there. But yeah, we have mudfruit trees here. It's so cool. These are converted from Fallout, obviously, and I love Fallout, so it's really cool to have them here, especially since we're in a post-apocalyptic world, and I feel right at home right now. Also, I'm thinking about adding in the immersive rain mod for the next episode, because I really don't like the survivors just standing happily outside in the rain when they should be having some sort of a reaction to it. But yeah, I'll let Marilena harvest these fruits. And then she's going back to fishing. And there's really not much else to do today. So Ivy is just going to alternate between mining and taking naps. Maybe get some sand, but I think we have like 30 buckets. So we'll stick to stone and maybe a few pieces of coal. And Marlena will harvest these fruits and then go back to fishing. And we'll check back in when the others come out of the mines with the buckets of iron and copper. It's even better than I thought. The mud fruit that falls from the tree can actually be eaten, and they do that autonomously because we just saw Ivy do that. And they can also save it for later, which is going to probably make them put it in their inventory, I guess. But yeah, I thought Marlena should take a break and eat something. It's still raining and they're both really tired, so I'm going to send them into the tent to take a break, to take a nap. And they're also not completely filling up the hunger bar, which is nice. So yeah, Marlena is going to join Ivy in the tent. They're not really good friends yet, but I think she can sleep here. Probably. So it's we're all alone now. Everyone's either sleeping or mining. I'll check back in when someone comes out of the mine or the tent. Okay, I'm waking up Marlena. She's taking a nap and we're going to send her back fishing. It's 2:30 right now. We still have a few more hours to spend here. And I think we can also wake up Ivy. Yeah, she can mine for stone. Let's see if she can actually mine for coal. Yeah, she can. Okay. Let's get 2 pieces of coal and then go back into the tent because she will probably be exhausted after that again. Someone is coming out of this mine, I think. Yeah, there she is. Andrea. I missed the message, but she has 18 buckets of iron ore. That's pretty good. And a healing crystal. So that's actually pretty nice. It's dry now. It's not raining anymore. So she also got 6 buckets of sand. She did that by herself. We're gonna let her take a nap, and I think Joe should be out in about an hour. And once he comes out, we'll go back home because it would be really nice if we could leave for the cornfields around 4 in the afternoon for the big party. So can you guess what kind of party it's going to be? Oh, and before I forget, I also rolled for like danger. So they have 11 body points combined, these 4 survivors, and I rolled an 11. So that means that they were just about safe enough that there won't be any animal encounters today. So it's a quiet day at the quarry. And there's Joe. Where'd he go? Oh, he ran out to get some mud fruit. Yeah, there's really a lot of those. We should probably get them before we go home and take some extra with us. How many did Marlena get from harvesting? 9 buckets. So it was 1 bucket per tree. Yeah, we're gonna let her get the other ones too, and then we'll just send them home. And I'll see you there and see what the survivors at home have done today. So yeah, I forgot to check Joe's inventory. He came back with 18 buckets of copper ore. So also really nice. They grabbed all of the fruits right here. Marlena now has 9 buckets of mud fruit No, 9 buckets of mud fruit, but also 14 separate edible mud fruits. So yeah, now we're really going home. No more 1 more things. So back at the settlement, things are actually pretty quiet right now. Everyone is either at work or working on their skills. So this is a perfect time to check some aspirations again. So let's look at Abhijit today using Sophie the Puffin's aspiration calculator again, like we did the last time. He is serial romances first, that was no surprise, a hopeless romantic second, and he wants a huge family third. Now this seems like a bit of a contradiction, but I think it makes perfect sense for him. I feel like Even though he wants a lot of loves, at the same time, probably, ultimately, he needs these women more than they need him. And it's not a game to him, it's much more than that. And whether it is love or just his ego, you decide. But he takes his loves seriously. And I think he will be very proud if any children come from that. He now has the wish to have 20 simultaneous lovers, and I decided to let him keep that because there's really no other thing that I think would be better for him right now. He doesn't have a lot of options, and I really do think that he is mostly focused on relationships rather than providing value for the community. So yeah, we're going to let him keep this. The overall vibe that I'm getting from Abhijit is that he is really proud, like really traditional, and he needs to be the man around the house, so to speak, and cannot really deal if he is not acknowledged as such. He will jump at any opportunity that might give him the admiration that he needs so desperately. He also has the unlucky traits, the hot-headed trait. He is clumsy, which is kind of funny considering he's their mechanic, and he's a perfectionist. So I think he knows deep down that he's not the best at doing what he does, and it's purely that they're in an apocalypse that he is the best man to do the job. So having Ivy here is really a big threat to his ego. And that also ties in nicely with the hot-headedness. I think that in this case, I sort of read like emotionally immature. When he doesn't get the admiration that he needs, he's just not very mature about handling it, and he may act a bit childish. That's also why I think that he is more preoccupied with getting those desperate needs for admiration met than with the feeling of others. And he really doesn't feel guilty about romancing Sandy when Christy wasn't around, because, you know, Christy wasn't there. So he needed someone else to fill that void, and he's just really sort of unaware of how immature his feelings really are, but he feels very deeply about the women around him. Okay, so let's send Abhijit back to his crafting because he's got a lot more to do and he really shouldn't be harvesting vegetables. Next up is Kennedy, and Kennedy, I never really liked him before, but he quickly became one of my favorites in this playthrough. He is, in the first place, a hard worker, in the second place, a public enemy, and third, he is a strict parent. The public enemy part, I think Kennedy has always been grumpy, but now with his traits, he is just really extra levels of Kennedy. We should really let him do something else than just sit around. He also has some stuff to do because he still has some fish in his inventory that he can put in here. So yeah, looking at his wish, he has the wish to become a city planner, which he is not going to be. And he has the traits. He is handy, coward, grumpy. He's definitely grumpy, and an angler. So these, he really rolled for these, and I loved these traits for him. Handy, not so much, but it's a good one to have. I like the coward and the grumpy trait, and the angler is what made me give him the task of fishing on that very first day in the forest. And yeah, I feel like it is something that he really likes to do because it's something that he can do in solitude mostly. We've got a chance card again. Brandon is ordered to build a wall near the side of a road near an elderly. Brandon is ordered to build a wall. As he is building the wall, he notices that it's sinking partly into the ground. The incomplete wall can be seen to be deforming on the soft foundation leading to an imperfect wall structure. The wall must be complete by the end of the day. Should Brandon rebuild part of the sinking wall or add more bricks to it? I'm not sure. He is a bit, I wouldn't say lazy, but very like laid back. The casualness we talked about, so he's not going to want to rebuild, he's going to add more bricks. By adding more bricks to the sinking side of the wall, Brandon is able to complete building the wall with no sign of structural defects to the wall. Plus, it seems to look good on the uneven terrain. The foreman reviews Brandon's work and congratulates him on a job well done and his ingenious design. Brandon receives 100 simoleons. So he gets extra crafting points for being efficient at his construction job. So we were talking about Kennedy. And yeah, I think the fishing is something that he really likes because it is something that he can do autonomously without anyone interfering. And I think it is sort of special that he actually tolerates Benjamin on his fishing trip and that he enjoys spending time with him. I'm just going to send Abjib to bed because he keeps digging into the fireworks. Okay. No, we don't want to save. I want to change Kennedy's lifetime wish because I've been thinking he has the city planner right now. We don't want that for him. We want something else. But there are several options that I really, really like for him. The first one is one fight with many Sims. And if you've seen my Pleasant View Townie video in sort of the Big Brother house where I put them all in one house and we sat back with a bag of popcorn and just watched whatever happened and see who they ended up with. We saw that Kennedy kept fighting with really, really everyone, but he also won a lot of fights. He kept bragging about it, and it sort of ties in with the grumpiness, the cowardness maybe even too. Like he's not really good at confrontation. He would just rather hit someone in the face. So I wouldn't really be surprised if he picked a fight with Abjit today. If he does, I think I'm just going to let him because yeah, it's just too good. And I think this is going to add nothing to the community. But it'll be nice to have this lifetime achievement, and he might actually achieve it, so that is going to be cool too, because in the end there is going to be like a point system for every lifetime wish that they can achieve, but that's in the long run. But still, it would be nice, it would be cool. The other thing that I like for him is a bit more serious. It's the self-employed talent. Like I said, the fishing is something that he can really do on his own. He feels secure and most comfortable when he's alone and not dependent on anyone. He's just really, really independent. And he likes being alone. He likes spending time alone. The madness and the chaotic mess of the group is sometimes a little bit too much for him. And I can kind of relate of him sitting with in the garden with his plate of soup, with his bowl of soup instead of around the campfire with all the others. So yeah, I think that was kind of funny. I think it fits him. A self-employed talent also sort of implies that he is going to be independent, self-sufficient. He could run a fish shop, which I really like. He's going to do that anyway, but yeah, do we want him to fight or do we want him to be a self-employed talent? We can have many more self-employed talents, I think, because we are going to have so many shops. I just want Kennedy to have the one fights with many Sims, just because it fits him so well. And it's like a little nudge to Pleasant View Townie video. It's like an alternate universe because these Sims have never been there, but still. I like to have that for him, so we're changing it. And now he wants a shower. Yeah, we are going to let him have some sleep. Let's see, sleep in this bed. And he can freshen up after that. Yeah, he can freshen up after that. They'll still have to eat too. So overall, I don't think Kennedy is a bad guy. He's not evil or mean-spirited. Maybe just a bit stubborn at times. He just wants to be left alone mostly. And he will just lash out when provoked. So yeah, if he beats up Abjit after kissing Sandy, who can really blame him? It's just that it's sometimes hard to tell what Kennedy perceives as being provoked. So during Kennedy's background story, we were actually interrupted by another chance card. Oh, we are not going to ignore this one. This is John. This is an actual chance card. John's consortium has asked him to meet with a member of the Senate. Well, blah 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 blah. We can. So we're going to pick this one. And John has gained a charisma skill point. That's really great. And a 5,000 simoleon bonus. That is really great. And I've written down in the rules somewhere that I knew about this chance card, and every time he gets a $5,000 bonus, I didn't really expect it to happen this soon, but they get a treasure chest because that is exactly 5,000 simoleons. So I think John has one. in his inventory. We'll do it quickly right here. In this case, it doesn't really matter that he's not home. We will just... Can we copy it? We can't copy it. Oh, there goes my plan. We'll have to do it in another way then. That's really not an issue because we have these empty chests that we can fill with simoleons. So we'll do that later when John comes home. If no negative chance cards occur that are going to take away our crafting points again, because 5,000, that's really, really a lot in this world. And yeah, I really wanted that to be another treasure chest. So we'll make that happen. We'll make that happen. And Brandy has been working out today because she had been eating a little bit too much of that delicious soup of hers, and she never worked out since I got here. I think this is even the first time that I've seen her in her athletic outfit. So yeah, she wasn't as fit as she would like to be for tomorrow because tomorrow is her wedding day. Let's also do something about that backpack of hers. And I saw that we actually can still harvest the berry bushes on the settlement lot. So maybe on the forest lot it's been not enough time between harvests. I don't really know, and I didn't check all of the bushes, but it's good to know that we still have some berry bushes that can give us some berries, because we can really use the extra food right now with all of these survivors here. Now, taking a closer look at Brandy, she is a family sim with in first place the serial romances. Again, we have a lot of those. A friend of the world and a modest enjoyer. Now, I really do see Brandy as someone who is just really kind, caring, nurturing, sweet to everyone. She wouldn't say a bad word about anyone, and I think that kind of fits in with this. I don't really see her as like a heartbreaker or anything with serial romances. I think she is way too sweet and way too kind for that. So maybe the explanation there is that in her younger years, especially combined with the modest enjoyer, I could really see her like dating a lot of guys without anything really leading to anything serious. So the serial romances combined with the modest enjoyer, I can really see her having a lot of dates, going out, having fun, but sort of also never getting serious with anyone. But I think that when she meets someone that she really, really loves, she is never going to hurt them. She's way too kind and way too sweet for that. And the friend of the world also kind of says that about her. So I don't really see the several romances at the same time, especially not when lying about it. So the only real option for that would be for her to be in an open relationship. But I don't think that John would would want that. I don't think that fits him. So, and I'm not even sure that I see her as... I don't really get the open relationship vibes from her. So she is first and foremost a family sim, I think. And once she settles down, she just wants to enjoy life and enjoy being with the ones that she loves. So in the meantime, the building crew came home, and apparently Kome didn't really make it to his bed. And I don't think Melissa is going to make it either. So we are going to send her... Yeah, she is going to go to bed. Brenda is... I don't know what she's doing, but she could definitely grab a plate. Ahmed is really, really dirty. But we're going to let him take a nap too. And can we wake up Kome? Yeah, let's send him to this bed. And I think Brandy was just done with the next meal that she made. We'll put that in her inventory. So she can go here, I think, and clean herself up. But before she does that, let's see. So she's a family sim, and she has the wish to collect all vacation mementos. Now, I do really like this for her, even though this is not really the sort of life where she can even go on vacation. But I think it ties in with the modest enjoyer, the friend of the world, wanting to have experiences and just experience life with the ones that she loves. I also, for some reason, see her as someone who would really enjoy going shopping with her friends. And that kind of still shows in the outfit that she's wearing through all of this. So we're keeping this lifetime wish. Which brings us to the last aspiration check of this episode and a bit of a background about these characters, which is Brenda. She is a hopeless romantic, a strict parent, and a hard worker. She also has the trait that she's a perfectionist. And she is actually also one of my favorites, even though we haven't really seen much of her. And I think it's funny because I actually think that Brenda has a lot of similarities with Kennedy. Although Brenda is much more shy, she's a bit more laid back and definitely a lot nicer. But I don't know, I just see some similarities between them, that they both like being on their own, both being really independent, and Brenda doesn't really talk much. And I think that she is sometimes just really hard to read for the others. And they also both have the hard worker and the strict parent aspiration. So that was kind of funny. So looking at her traits, she is good, she is handy, she's a perfectionist, and she is adventurous. And the adventurous trait is mostly why I gave her the adventurer career. But it also really ties in with the challenge because that is one of the jobs that is available right from the start. And I just think it fits Brenda so well. Right, if you didn't know or have missed that, it's actually Brandy Letourneau. But I didn't want to start New World off with two Sims with the exact same name. So I renamed Brandy Letourneau to Brenda. And I kind of like that name for her. And now that I'm thinking about her similarities with Kennedy, I don't know. I think they, in another lifetime, they could maybe be brother and sister. That would be kind of cool. So her lifetime wish, she is a knowledge sim. Her lifetime wish is to raise a wonder child. And I am definitely keeping that one because, and this is obviously a spoiler, but probably most of you know this already, I am bringing back all of the children and teenagers from the Pleasant View Townies. So her son is going to be Alvin Futa. And I don't know, this is just a perfect combination. To me, they have the same face template. They look so much alike. Let's see if he is going to be her wonder child. It's also time for her to go to work after this. We don't really want her to be late. So yeah, she did finish her plate, so that's good. And she's getting into that horrible outfit again, but we'll let her for now. Nope, I actually changed my mind and I changed her clothes and I gave her a job outfit stoppinator. But what I wanted to say about her, she is actually most attracted to Goopy, which is really cool because I want those two to end up together. And they are an odd combination, I think, but a really interesting one, and I really wanted them to be together. So she is almost the exact opposite of Goopy, and well, opposites attract, I guess, and I think that is mostly what draws her to Goopy. I also think that she just really admires his artistic side, which is something that she just doesn't really have. And I think her motto in life could be something like, if something is worth doing, it's worth doing it right. She's not afraid to try new things either, but she will likely want to excel at anything that she tries. I also see her as kind of competitive, but like silently, like she's not going to get into arguments about it, but she just wants to be the best. And if something doesn't go her way, she will just rather walk away. That is actually something that she has in common with Goopy now that I think of it. Yeah, they will probably both avoid conflict and just rather walk away. And the biggest difference between them would really be that Brenda does believe in that one true love. And as anything else in her life, she would want to make her marriage a success. We all know that Goopy will have a hard time committing to only one relationship in his life, so we'll see how that plays out. But let's let her leave and let her go to work. And in 2 minutes, I'm also expecting John home. He will be here any second, I think. There he is. He came in on the other side, probably. And here's Kennedy with his backpack. I thought I told him to take that off. There we go. That's better. Because it's close to 4 o'clock and we really want to be going. Here's John. You're standing inside of that thing. We are getting close to 4 o'clock and we want to leave for the cornfields around 4 o'clock. And I also still wanted to show you the items that they've crafted and that we've made for the new settlement, for the expansion of the settlement. And I think that we're going to give John the last coffee because I do sort of feel like this is an emergency if he is this tired an hour before his wedding. So we're going to let him come over here and drink a coffee. And another thing that I wanted to show you is that these trees have been cut down by Kome. He did this on Sunday when the others were meeting the others. So when they were at the hunting cabin on their scavenging trip. And he started cutting down these trees, and he will be going all around the settlement to cut down most of the trees that are here because we need the extra wood, and they didn't have to leave the lot for that. And another thing is that with all the crafting that BACC has been doing, we can actually craft a few more items. So we are going to probably send him back to the crafting table in a minute. But he's also been harvesting vegetables. I'm going to give these to Brandy in a minute. But yeah, so he's crafted a double bed for the new house, a chest or a safe, which is going to contain the 5,000 simoleons. Which wasn't planned, but it's perfect because I was going to give them a safe anyway, a chest, a table, a dining table. A bit further back because he did that, he also had one before. Yeah, 4 chairs that can be replaced whenever they decorate the house. Windows, window frames, and let's see, they should be... No, I think Kome has those. Kome has the rest of it. He has the doors. So Kome has the 2 doors. He has the glass panes for the windows. And yeah, just a lot of items that I want to put in a construction site in the future. He also crafted 14 wooden components, so that's a lot of items. And the greenery for in the garden. So that means that they can have some shrubs and bushes and stuff. He's apparently also holding the cement. This is something that I wanted to add, and I waited until today to do this. But yeah, so we have a few sims that are in the building career that are not in the main architecture career. So the ones that are apprentice builder or cement mixers will convert their simoleons at the end of the day to crafting points, obviously, but we are going to turn those into cement because I think these cost exactly 50, if I'm not mistaken. 25, I'm sorry. They cost 25. So we have let's see, we have Amin who came back, who is an apprentice builder. We have Melissa, who's an apprentice builder, so that's 8 bags of cement. And I think we have a third one. Yeah, Kome is also still in the apprentice builder career. So we have 12 bags of cement that we should place here. So there we go. So we had the one that we already have, and then 12 extra bags of cement. So we'll give all of these to Kome. And in the future, we're only going to do this for the ones that are actually work as a cement mixer. So yeah. And the next thing is that they can now actually craft an archery target. So I think this one would look really cool. And this is not where we're going to place it, obviously. We don't have the room for it right now. So we are also going to place this into Abhijit's inventory. And we will place it while we do the settlement expansion. But we also have to trade in some items that were used in the craft. So we will just... we are going to get rid of these, and let's see, I think there was a chain, 2 wooden components, and a hay bale. We don't need a chain. I was going to do a hanging target at first, but this one isn't hanging. So where are the hay bales? There they are. So 1 hay bale. And another thing that they can craft is a scarecrow. But that's not just any scarecrow, but a scarecrow archer. So we have the farmer for body skill, the night watchman, the swordsman. But the one that is actually available right now for them to craft is the scarecrow farmer. And no, I'm sorry, the scarecrow archer. And that is something that they can build charisma skill with. So I think we are just going to go for this color right now. And it's an object that they talk to, like to the mirror. I think if you saw in the last episode, Joe was talking to one of these, and yeah, I kind of think it fits the scene. So we are going to put that into Abhijit's inventory too, and also sell some items for it that were used in the craft. And yeah, I think that is actually it for this episode. So in about an hour, the others will be home, and around 4, we are going to leave for the cornfields for the wedding of John and Brandy. Now, I'm not sure that everyone will be able to attend, with Brenda still being at work, some of the survivors being exhausted, and, Andrea wanting someone on watch duty 24/7, but we'll have to see how to make it a special day for the two of them anyway. I will also show you the 2 settlement expansions that we have earned today, so in the next episode, the settlement will be a bit larger, both on the right and on the left side, and we will have to see what we can do with that extra space that will be available to us. Especially the one on the left will give us some really cool advantages. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you there for the next one. As always, I want to thank you for spending time with me, following these survivors on their way to rebuild society in a new world. I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!